Hi everyone, my name is Thu Phuong and I'm from MP Productions, an indie media production company run by two members, and I'm one of them. So today I'm going to reflect on my media coursework, focusing on what I learned and how my skills developed throughout the pre-production, production, and post-production stages. So first I will start with the pre-production stage. And starting with researching, I found this stage quite easy and smooth because I already had experience doing research in other subjects. So this helped me when exploring gender conventions, social issues, and audience research. For example, like gender conventions, I developed a clear understanding of how elements like lighting, camera angles, and sound are used to create tension, especially in horror films where low lighting, low exposure, and push in shots are usually used. In terms of social issues, I learned how themes can be used to make the story more meaningful and engaging with the audience. Audience research also helped me understand our target audience and their viewing habits, which then guide many of our creative decisions later on. Moving on to script writing. So I also had prior experience writing scripts for game shows and short broadcast videos. So this process was relatively fast for me. I was able to imagine the scenes, camera angles, and movements while writing, which made the script more detailed and practical for filming. My partner and I also work well together, discussing ideas and visualizing how each scene would look. However, because of my previous experience, I don't think that my script writing skills improved significantly. But instead, I chose to focus on more developing other areas of the coursework that I found that they are more challenging. These also lead to the next part, which is storyboarding, which was completely new to me. So at the beginning, I practiced by watching scenes from other films and turning them into storyboards. This helped me to become more familiar with the process. So when working our own opening sequence, which is after class, I focused on imagining the actual shots and writing detailed descriptions, including camera angles and movements of the characters. My partner then used these descriptions to draw the storyboard, and I found this process quite fun and interesting as it helped our group to clearly visualize how our film would look. As a result, it made planning the filming process much more easier, and I believe that my storyboarding skills has improved a lot, especially in writing detailed descriptions. So in the future, I would also like to challenge myself by also drawing the storyboard. Another important part of the pre-production was creating a mood board, planning props, yeah, creating a mood board and planning props. So this was my first time doing all of these. And at the beginning, I didn't really understand what they involved, like the tasks that are involved in those. So after looking at examples from the seniors, I started to develop ideas and used Pinterest to find inspiration for our location mood board. Once we had selected potential locations, my partner and I analyzed elements such as color, lighting, and props to see if they match the themes of the film, which is psychological as well as horror. So we also decided on the props needed for each scene, such as pillows, the blankets, the room decorations, like yeah, and also the horror movie posters. So regarding location scouting, we initially tried to find a homestay by joining a Facebook group where people post rental apartments. We found one that quite matched our expectations and contacted the owner to ask if we could visit before renting, but they refused. So as a result, we decided to film in our own house and at school. Since these were familiar locations, the scouting process became much more faster and save us both time and effort. So through this experience, I learned how to plan and create a mood board more confidently, as well as to analyze locations and prepare props to ensure that they can support the film's message and genre. In the future, I would like to try creating mood boards for other genres, such as romantic or comedy films. Finally, the last part of the pre-production process is budgeting and casting. So our main goal was to minimize production costs as much as possible. And at first, we planned to post a casting call on Facebook group to find an actor. However, during our discussion, we suddenly came up with the idea of inviting a friend to take on the role. He agreed immediately, which made the process easier. So, this experience taught me that budgeting is not only about saving money, but also it's about making practical decisions based on the resources available to us. And overall, the pre-production stage has helped me build a strong foundation for the project and allowed me to approach the filming process with more confidence and clarity. Moving to my next part of the reflection vlog, it's going to be about the production stage, including directing and managing actors, cinematography, and liaising with location people. So, first, to start with, directing actors. I already had some prior experience before, so this process was quite smooth for me and my partner. So at the beginning, we discussed the scenes with our actor and also showed him the storyboard so he could clearly visualize and understand what was expected from us. I then explained what actions he needed to perform and what emotions he should express in each scene. So whenever his acting did not fully match our expectations, I demonstrated the performance myself so he could follow more easily. This approach worked well, and overall, the directing process at both locations, especially at school, was very efficient. And in fact, at some points, the actor's performance was even better than we had expected. For example, a scene when the main character and the bullies pass each other along the hallway, like the emotions, the facial expressions of the bullies, like even better than we expected. So moving on to cinematography, this was one of the areas that where I developed the most. So instead of using a professional camera like a Canon or Nikon with a gimbal, our group decided to film using an iPhone and a tripod. So initially, we thought that this would be easier to control and would save time. So, however, the filming process turned out to be more challenging than expected. Many of our shots has to be refilmed due to shakiness or because the subject was out of focus. Although this was time consuming, we stayed patient and kept refilming, which then eventually gave us more shot options to choose from during our editing process. And while filming, we also experiment with camera angles that were different from those in our storyboard. So we also compared these shots and found that some of them were actually more visually interesting. So we decided to include them in the final product. At a scene when the protagonist was immersing himself into the film, and then there was a pan from the window to him to the medium shot of him watching. Yeah, that shot. We thought that it was interesting, so we included in the final product. This experience helped me realize that being flexible and trying new ideas can lead to better results. And technically, I learned a lot about shot stability, framing, and focus. especially how to use features like AF log and AF log tracking on the iPhone. So after receiving the teacher's feedback, I learned about the AF log setting, which automatically locks the camera focus at one subject to avoid inconsistency of lighting and exposure. Then, while filming, my partner and I also discovered AF log tracking setting, which helps to keep the subject in focus and avoid shaking. This can be demonstrated in the scene where the protagonist and the bullies pass each other. So at first, the main character was out of focus, and so we discovered this setting. So we apply it, and then it actually worked. So I also understood the importance of carefully reviewing footage during filming to avoid mistakes. Because after each scene, we will review our footage again to see if we need real filming or not. Creatively, I became more aware of how camera positioning, lighting, and shot types can create meaning and influence the audience emotions. At the start, my partner and I relied heavily on static and medium shots, which felt like a safe choice, but sometimes made the footage less engaging. So, after reviewing our work, receiving feedback, and refilming, we realized that using a wider variety of shot types would make the film more dynamic and immersive. So, for example, instead of using a static medium shot of the protagonist watching a horror movie, we replace it with a Dutch angle medium close-up shot in the final product to better convey his emotional intensity and the sense of immersion. Therefore, making the audience also immersed into the movie with the main character. And another important aspect of the production stage was taking care of the crew. Before filming, we prepared snacks and drinks, as food is an effective way to create a positive and comfortable atmosphere. So because we had already shown the actor the storyboard and demonstrated the acting, he understood everything clearly, which made the process smooth and quite enjoyable. However, we did run into a ridiculous situation when filming a close-up shot of the actor's eyes. So this shot required his eyes to remain in the center of the frame while expressing his obsession with the film. So we asked him not to blink. He tried his best and followed our instructions without complaining. But after multiple takes, his eyes started to tear up. So we immediately stopped filming, checked on him, and gave him time to rest. So this experience made me realize that how important it is to communicate frequently and taking care of the actor's well-being, especially regarding health and comfort. Uh, After that, during the second day of filming, we were much more attentive. My partner and I regularly check if the actor was tired, and we also allowed him to take breaks when needed. Finally, in terms of time management and liaising with locations, this aspect went very smoothly. So for the first location, which was our own house, we filmed in the afternoon when there was no one at home. So this helped us avoid the background noise and also distractions. The three of us just focused fully on filming and even finished earlier than we expected. When filming at school, we also scheduled our shoot after class hours, so there were no students or teachers entering the filming area. So this has created a quiet and controlled environment, making the entire process much more efficient. Overall, the production stage was both challenging and rewarding, and it helped me to develop not only my technical skills but also my ability to adapt collaborate and manage real filming situations effectively. Lastly, I'm going to reflect the post-production stage. So before the production stage, I did not carefully consider how lighting would vary across different environments or locations. As a result, the light exposure levels in our classroom and the hallway footage were inconsistent, which created visual discontinuity in the final product. So this means that my partner and I had to spend significantly more time on color grading during the post-production to balance the lighting and to ensure like a more cohesive look. Over time, my editing skills developed considerably as I became more familiar with both the technical and creative aspects of post-production. Initially, my editing process was quite basic, focusing mainly on arranging clips in sequence. However, through practice and reviewing our own footage, I learned how to edit more purposely to enhance storytelling and audience engagement. One key technique I improved was continuity editing. So I became more aware of maintaining logical flow between shots, ensuring that the actions between scenes remained consistent so the audience would feel empathized with the protagonist. I also developed a better understanding of pacing. At first, some of our scenes felt quite slow or repetitive, but I learned how to trim clips more effectively and adjust the rhymes of cuts to match the mood of the scene, especially in building tension for horror elements like at the nearly end of the 2 minutes. I also practice cutting on action, which help make transitions between shots smoother and more natural. This made the movement appear seamless and also kept the audience immersed in the narrative. For instance, I used match cuts to move from the scene of the main character falling down in the hallway and then onto his bed, and also the medium close-up shot of his face when sitting alone in the classroom to when he was walking along the hallway. So moving beyond basic cuts to more intentional choices not only suited the tone of the film, but it also helped to make the opening sequence more interesting and still being able to to avoid the overuse of that could distract viewers. Color grading was the area where I saw most improvements. Due to the inconsistent lighting in our footage, as I've said earlier, my partner and I had to learn how to adjust brightness, contrast, and then color, saturation to balance the visual across scenes. We had to try different parameters for each category in order to find the most satisfied color tone that matched our expectations. So this experience has improved the overall quality of our film while also helped me to understand the importance of color grading and its influence on mood and atmosphere. Moving on to mise en scène, my understanding of this concept changed a lot throughout the project because at first, during planning, my understanding of mise en scène was quite basic. I mostly thought that it just it they were just the background of the scene, and so as the project progressed, I realized that these elements were actually everything visible in the frame. And so each element helps to communicate meaning, mood, and gender to the audience. For costume, I already understood its importance in showing a character's personality and situation. For example, the actor wearing a school uniform represents a typical student who follows school rules, making the character more realistic and relatable. And when he was at home, although he looks physically okay because he wear pajamas and but actually inside him he was facing with mental health issues. So for props, my understanding developed further. At first, I saw props as simple objects used to fill space. However, after the first shoot, I became more intentional in selecting them. We used items like pillows, blankets, and horror movie posters to create a familiar bedroom setting, while also hinting at the horror theme. The box, in particular, became an important symbolic element as its mysterious appearance helped create a sense of tension and anticipation. Through this, I learned that props can carry meanings and contribute to storytelling, not just there for decorations. Finally, in terms of sound, although my basic understanding was already strong from the beginning, my practical skills became more refined during this post-production stage. So I already had a basic understanding of its importance, and therefore I was aware that sound plays a crucial role in a film's opening sequence. Therefore, I paid close attention to background noise during filming. As a result, our group deliberately chose quieter environments to ensure cleaner audio recordings. During the planning stage, my partner and I also discussed how ambient sound could enhance the realism of the scene. For example, we decided to record specific sounds ourselves, such as the audio from the movie the main character was watching and the sound of him falling onto bed. For additional environmental sounds, such as people talking or nighttime ambience, we sourced audio from free platforms like BBC Sound Effects. In the post-production stage, my editing skills improved as I learned how to balance different audio elements more effectively. I adjust sound levels for each scene to ensure clarity, reduced background noise where necessary, and also made sure that the ambient sounds were consistent across shots to maintain continuity. I also became more selective when choosing and integrating music, ensuring that it matched the eerie mood and the tone of the film. In particular, I spent quite a while selecting the sound effect for the final scene, where the horror elements begin to emerge. So I listened to different sound elements again and again to choose the most suitable one. Additionally, I also learned how to layer sound more effectively. Instead of relying on a single audio track, I combined ambient sound and also horror soundtrack to create a more immersive atmosphere for the audience. Because while editing, I also placed myself as a viewer, like as an audience viewpoint, and watching it and also judging it to make adjustment if needed. And I also improved my sense of timing, making sure that all the sound aligned with visual actions to enhance impact. Overall, while my foundation understanding of sound remained consistent, my ability to apply editing techniques became more refined and intentional. So overall, the post-production stage helped me grow from having basic technical editing skills to making more thoughtful and creative decisions. I became more aware of how visual and audio elements work together to shape the audience experience and strengthens the impact of the film. In conclusion, this project has highlighted several key areas for improvement that I will focus more in my future media work. So one of the most important lessons is the need for more thorough planning, especially in terms of lighting across different locations, in order to reduce the workload during post-production. I also aim to take more creative risks earlier in the process rather than just relying on the safe shot choice. In addition, I would also like to further develop my technical skills by experimenting with more advanced equipment, such as professional cameras, and improving my control over cinematography techniques like focus, framing, and camera movement. For storyboarding, I plan to challenge myself by not only writing descriptions but also later drawing the frames and the uh, and the animations to better visualize the film. Finally, I want to continue refining my editing and sound design skills, particularly in creating stronger atmosphere and emotional impact through more precise pacing, color grading, and audio layering. So by applying all of these improvements, I believe that I will be able to produce more polished and creative and effective media product in the future. So thank you for listening to my reflection blog and hope that you enjoy it. Bye.